This is Route 66, the Mother Road, the show that road trips the legendary highway from Chicago to the coast. Your hosts are Robbie and Terry, both 15. Every week they break it down so you actually get it.
The Mother Road, the show that road trips the legendary highway from Chicago to the coast. I'm Terry.
And I'm Robbie, and today we're talking about the most dramatic way anyone has ever said, "Hey, welcome to the West," the Gateway Arch in St. Louis.
Which is right here on our Route 66 journey, sitting on the west bank of the Mississippi River like a giant silver staple.
A very stylish staple. It's the tallest monument in the United States, 630 feet tall.
That's taller than the Washington Monument, taller than the Statue of Liberty, basically taller than your ego after you win at trivia night.
Okay, fair. But here's the wild part. It's not just tall, it's also 630 feet wide at the base. It's a perfect catenary curve.
A catenary curve is the shape a chain makes when you hold both ends and let it hang. Math and architecture, which is honestly kind of beautiful.
The architect was Eero Saarinen, a Finnish-American designer who won a competition in 1948 to build a monument celebrating westward expansion.
He submitted his design the night before the deadline. The night before.
Procrastination as a superpower. I feel very seen.
Construction didn't actually start until 1963, though, because getting funding approved takes approximately forever.
And they finished in 1965. The two legs were built from opposite sides and had to meet perfectly at the top.
Engineers were sweating that day. If the legs didn't align, the whole thing would have been a very expensive public oops.
They were off by just 1/64th of an inch. 1/64th. That's basically nothing.
That's the width of a human hair, give or take. Those construction workers deserved a parade.
And here's something most people don't know. You can actually ride to the top inside the arch.
Not in an elevator exactly, in these tiny pod cars called trams that tilt as they go up the curve. 8 people per pod.
It takes about 4 minutes to get to the top, and the windows are these little slanted slits, and you can see for 30 miles on a clear day.
30 miles of Missouri and Illinois spread out below you. The Mississippi River looks like a brown ribbon from up there.
The whole monument sits inside the Jefferson National Expansion Memorial, which was renamed the Gateway Arch National Park in 2018.
Making it one of the smallest national parks by area, but arguably one of the coolest by shape.
No other national park is a giant shiny curve. That's a fact I just made up, but I'm also confident it's true.
It's clad in stainless steel, about 900 tons of it, which is why it gleams in the sun like something from a science fiction movie.
Route 66 travelers driving into St. Louis would have seen it starting in the mid-60s, just gleaming on the horizon like a welcome sign from the future.
Imagine rolling down the highway in your 1966 Mustang and suddenly that thing appears on the skyline. You'd slam the brakes.
Safely, of course. Always signal and check your mirrors, kids.
The arch is meant to symbolize St. Louis as the gateway to the West, because this was where pioneers stocked up and headed out on the Oregon Trail.
So it's basically a monument to people who looked at a continent and said, "More, please?"
Which is either inspiring or a lot, depending on the history you layer onto it. The land out west wasn't empty, people already lived there.
The monument's own museum inside actually addresses that now. They updated it to include indigenous history and the full complicated story of expansion.
Which makes the whole visit feel more honest. You can hold two things at once, amazing engineering and complicated history.
That's kind of what Route 66 does too. Beautiful road, complicated past, worth understanding all of it.
The arch draws about 2 million visitors a year, 2 million people looking up and going, okay, wow.
It's held up through earthquakes, floods, and decades of Missouri weather. Engineers say it could sway up to 18 inches in a high wind.
18 inches of sway at 630 feet up sounds like a roller coaster I did not sign up for.
And yet it's perfectly safe. Sometimes being a little wobbly is exactly what keeps you standing.
That's either brilliant engineering or a metaphor for teenagers, possibly both.
If you're driving Route 66, St. Louis is your first major city out of Chicago, and the Arch should be your first stop.
Ride the tram, look at the river, think about everyone who passed through this city chasing something big out west.
And then get back on the road, because the Mother Road has a lot more ahead. See you next week on Route 66, the Mother Road.